This is our Christmas slash New Year audio where we tell you what's happened thus far in the campaigns that have been running this year. It's Monday night, so of course we are going to start with the Escorts. And as always, we'd like to thank our sponsors, D&D Beyond, that is D, the letter N, D, Beyond.com, as well as Lucky Dice Cafe and Station Retro. If you're looking for a live game to play out in the Huntsville, Alabama area, head on out to those two locations after the new year and check out our live DM, Captain Sack, who is there at those two locations. You will be seeing new fan art from the Escorts, as well as fan art from Alone in the Void and Foundations of Adelar playing while we do this little audio session. I hope you guys don't mind. There will be no cams tonight. It is just me and my beautiful DMing voice. So of course, without further ado, our party for the Escorts consists of Zastari, played by yours truly, Satil, played by Eric, Ezra, played by Valen, Mello, played by Steve, Tangaroa, played by Tuna, also known as Molly, and Zora, played by Sarah. And of course our DM is the one, the only, Captain Sack, also well known as Heath Halbrooks. So without further ado, we would like to move on to the description of what has happened thus far in the campaign. The Festival of Renewal was about to get underway in the city of Prestigio. Like many others, our party, not yet formed, gathered for the festivities. As they ate and drank from the feast, the lady known as the Crone, Hapesh Squall, appeared and gathered before her a set of people. Amongst them she chose her vanguard. Amongst the vanguard were Satil and Tangaroa. The remainder were youths and people from all over. Along with the Crone was the warrior, Manlin Crow, an honor-bound knight, a lowly birthed knight who was indentured to a noble house, and his charge, Avashanti Edule, who is called the Catalyst. On the next day, the entire entourage, made up of almost the entire town, sets off towards Cormelin, the epicenter of the festival. As the party traveled over the course of a week or more, the gigantic group of travelers slowly started dwindling away. The party eventually found itself, along with the vanguard, as the entire remnants of the party. Traveling through the woods, they came across a people known as the Ioni, a savage people who moved through the trees and attacked the party. They protected the Catalyst Avashante and put the group down, but not before suffering some losses of their own. Some friends were made with the remaining folk. The vanguard finally arrived in the town of Cormelin, which sits in the center of a long dormant caldera. Therein they met the keepers of the veil and the preservers of the tree, a group known as the Illithid. They gave the warrior a choice, a decision he could not make, so left it to the remaining members of the vanguard. Kill the old woman, letting the girl take her role, and the world continues on as it has. No magic, no mystical creatures, just a mundane world. Or they kill the girl, and the crone passes from this world, and in doing so the veil between the worlds is torn away. After much deliberation, the decision was taken from them when Zastari, perched on the roof above the meeting, fires at the girl, killing her. The tree emits a light, and the entire party looks up at where the bolt came from. The knight looks at the crone and says, "It is finally done, mother. The cycle has ended." He takes her hand, and they step through the portal into another realm. The caldera starts to shake and move and erupts. The entirety of the party flees, but they're in danger of being swallowed by the volcanic mass that's erupting. The Ioni appear, but not as they were, humans in dark leathers, but as this people that are part ape and part human. Powerful arms lift the party members and start to carry them away. Fleeing in all directions, the party is finally brought to safety, but the rest of the vanguard is scattered and lost. The party notice subtle changes in one another. Tangaroa is now a Triton, masters of the ocean. Zastari is elven, slender and deadly. Mello is now Tanner, and his hair reflects the control of flame that the fire genasi has. The powerful large Ezra is now an Oni, his mask being absorbed and is now a reflection of his true visage. Satil seems unchanged, but he hears a frantic but hopeful voice in his head, a connection that has long been severed. The party starts to head south, not sure where to go. The players roll a new ability score, called Sanity. From henceforth, where the veil of the mundane and the magical start to cross paths, the party member or members must make a sanity roll, fail the saving throw, and you become withdrawn, canatotic, or lose your mind to a temporary insanity of some sort. The first place the party comes across is an abandoned keep, long thought to be emptied. Zastari goes off to explore ahead of the party. As Zastari enters the abandoned keep, she learns that it is not, in fact, abandoned. She watches as the long-dead denizens of the keep rise and turn. As the party fights off the undead, Zastari and the others come to grips with the reality that the world has changed. At least they realize it, and their minds, at times, dig in to prevent them from going mad. After clearing the keep, Zastari finds a frostbrand blade, and the party heads back to the nearest town, and finds themselves in Mount Eliona. They meet with a carpenter who has promised to make Lamaral armor for the paladin, and after staying at the local bed and breakfast, find themselves hired to escort a young lady by the name of Hannah to the Achaemenid moors. The party sets out the next day after a run-in with some local toughs the previous night, and make their way to Port Awapal. Hannah had set out ahead of them, and as they traveled along the road, they came across her being accosted by some brigands. They put the brigands down along with the help of a quiet newcomer, Zora. From there, they pick up their march to the port city. Once they arrive in Port Awapal, Zastari puts out about finding a magician or wizard that can transfer the powers of the blade to a more suitable weapon. She comes upon a hedge mage by the name of Oliver Sarnes. He explains that he can help her and gives her the price, plus the cost of a favor. She agrees and eventually finds herself collecting a small package for Sarnes from a previous associate. In the meantime, the party finds themselves meandering about until by chance they run into one another once again. Tangaroa is quick to point out that he has a ship and that he can sail them to their next destination, the city of Jopus Landing. After a bit of reticence on the part of some of the party, they eventually set sail on Tanga's vessel, a ship, but not quite what some were expecting. The next 2 weeks were marred by a set of Sahagin that tried to drown some of the party and almost running aground in a storm. The island they stopped by in housed a friendly large giant named Fenrir. The next morning they set sail once again and find themselves in the large town of Jopus Landing. Jopus Landing houses a large monastery where Satiel calls home. He introduces the friends to his stoic family, and eventually Hannah releases them to relax for a few days while she prepares for the next leg of the journey. While in town, Zastari finds out that there's a fighting pit that someone can win money, but a hag disrupts the mind of Ezra, and the party goes on the hunt to find the hag. They pursue her, eventually to her home, and a fight ensues. While it nearly costs the life of a party member, they are eventually triumphant, killing one of the hags and running the other off. They return to town triumphant. The next night they find themselves in the fighting pits. Some tough opponents nearly lay out Tangaroa and Ezra, but Zastari has a run of the fight, defeating several opponents with breaks in between. After defeating a pugless by the name of Tregor and elimination of some others, we are left with Tangaroa and Zastari in the ring. The fight is tough, but neither breaks. A lucky combination of shots and sheer determination claims Tangaroa the winner. The party, shaken and in tatters at the win, breaks for the night to lick their wounds and prepare to head out for the next day. Hannah introduces them to the caravan leader Lambert and his crew. The crew speaks a bit of common, but prefer a dwarven dialect. The road is safe for the most part, but one night, while still in the woods, they are accosted by a hill giant. Tangaroa goes down hard, but gets back up to continue fighting, earning him the name Duraka from the caravan folk. The name is fitting, they say, as it means rock-headed. The next nights find them eventually stepping into the peaty and loamy lands of the Achaemenid moors. The raised road makes it easy to traverse, but as light fades from the sky, they see ghostly lights appearing all over the moors. They take up residence not far from a fallen outpost. In the night, the party is led away, and eventually a fight breaks out, and the party overcomes the wraith, but not without some damage done. The party rested for the night, and that is where you can join us next year, starting on January 6th, 2020, for the continuation of the Escorts. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned in on Tuesday night as well as Thursday night, as we will have the rundown of both Esper Genesis and Curse of Strahd. I hope you guys are excited I'm excited. We have a great year of new games and fun adventures planned for everybody who sticks around to watch. We appreciate all of your support for Dire Bear throughout the year, and of course, as always, we could not be there without you. So, especially in this holiday time, remember to be good for one another, and remember, roar for initiative.